I don't even know what to say, bro.
Greatness can come from anywhere.
I draw inspiration from the Filipino people and to God and my family. Hard work is the most difficult things in boxing.
Let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Real Talk, back with that Real Talk. Let's get into some real talk. Shakur Stevenson becomes a 3-division champion in ugly fashion, but I don't believe he's ready for Tank Davis yet. Shakur Stevenson came into this fight. Now they're claiming that he had an injury, but I have to shout out Shakur. After the fight, he made no excuses. He really didn't point that out. He said it was on me. I mean, I had an ugly performance, but he got the victory. Shout out to Terrence Crawford coming to the aid of his little brother, basically saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, all fights ain't gonna be, you're not gonna display your A game. You might come into the fight and want to display your A game, but the competitor or circumstances may make that fight look and turn out a totally different way. And that's how it worked out for Shakur. He came into this fight telling the Los Santos that he was gonna F him up. You know what I mean? He was doing a lot of talking. He was very confident. Some say that was a bit of nervous energy. I mean, I kind of believe the same thing because I believe Edwin De Los Santos was a dangerous fighter. He was coming into this fight to win. But you look at both guys after the fight, man, you know what I mean? Like, neither one of these dudes really had a scar. Really, they didn't have a mark on their face. I mean, so neither one of them got caught with anything detrimental that could have hurt them in this fight or possibly stopped them in this fight. I don't see Shakur Stevenson carrying this baggage into his next fight. I believe he's going to get back into the gym. He's going to train. And I think he's going to look explosive in his next fight, bar if he's able to heal, because if he does have an injury, especially to his hands, you have to see how significant that is. How is that going to affect his punching power, his ability to get back into the gym and train as soon as possible? Because if you're trying to go after fights like Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis, I mean, these dudes is top tier. Now, I think Tank will stop Shakur. I mean, after that fight, because De Los Santos, he has power, lethal left hand, whole 9 yards. I mean, Tank is a fantastic boxer, man. He's underrated. I mean, it has come out many times, reports that Tank Davis has not displayed everything that he can display because a fighter has not brought that out of him yet. I would say the last time that probably happened was when Tank fought Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Tank kind of had some of the same things in that fight. Tank battled adversity. He was injured. He had to box in order to get the victory. I mean, Shakur Stevenson did the same thing. So if we want to compare Shakur Stevenson's performance versus De Los Santos, I mean, you just look at Tank when he fought Pitbull Cruz. I mean, kind of the same scenario. Fighter got hurt. You had to go in your bag. You had to box in order to get the victory. And that's what he did. So moving forward, if Shakur Stevenson still wants to go after a top tier guy, I think he probably needs to pursue that Devin Haney fight. That depends on how Devin Haney looks when he faces Prograis. Now, although that fight is at a higher weight class, I mean, Devin Haney, he could still come back down to 35 and fight Shakur Stevenson. I mean, that's a huge fight. That's one of those fights that sells itself. You don't have to market that fight. Well, you have to market every fight, but that fight sells itself. That's a fight that fans want to see. That's a fight that fans will show up to see. More importantly, support. Now, with a lot of these top tier fights ending up in Riyadh, that could be the marketplace for a Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney. They are willing to financially not only back these fights, shout out to Deontay Wilder for also pointing this out, but they are willing to financially promote these fights on the scale that they deserve to be promoted, and that's huge. So if Shakur Stevenson is still looking to garner a top tier fight, I think that he should wait to face Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank Davis, I'm not going to say he's not in a rush to come back, but after the Ryan Garcia fight, he made a ton of money, got into that legal situation, got out of jail, did a lot of fantastic things in the community. Right now, he's focusing on family. He's focusing on his career. More importantly, he's focused on himself, And that's what's important. Sometimes you have to step back from the spectrum of light to really see how things, and really to see what's going on. And that's what Tank is doing. And he's going to come back, in my opinion, he's going to be better than ever. He's going to be super explosive. He's still a top tier talent, one of the faces of boxing, dangerous fighter, dangerous puncher, dangerous IQ, and a bright future. So Gervonta Tank Davis, he really ain't worried about these guys. You know what I mean? Just like a Canelo Alvarez, like, these guys need to get into the ring with Tank. Shakur already said it himself. Once he gets into the ring with Tank Davis, that is going to be a huge fight. And it is. But I don't think he's ready yet for Tank. I think Tank will stop Shakur. Tank is sharp. When you get into the ring with a sharp fighter, your opposition has to be two things. They have to be sharp as you, or they have to be tough enough and skilled enough to make the fight look ugly. And that's what De Los Santos did. He was a tough competitor. He did have skills. He does have skills. That's how he was able to get the opportunity with Shakur Stevenson. I mean, that was a dangerous fight. So stepping into the ring with somebody like Haney and Tank, you're talking about fighters on another level. And Tank and Haney has showed that they do have toughness. They got that dog in them, man. Especially Tank. Tank had to dig down deep in a couple of fights. You know what I mean? And he came out victorious. So let me tell y'all something, man. Like when Tank, he fought Rolly. Tank said it himself, you know what I mean? Yeah, Rolly did a lot of talking, but he's the one ultimately wound up getting stopped. But Tank did admit, you know what I mean? Like, even when Rolly didn't get some of those shots in clean, he felt enough power on those shots to be like, damn, you know what? Let me be smart, because I ain't trying to get caught one of them shots. If I do get caught, I can get hurt. Tank was real enough to say that. And that's how it was with, you know what I'm saying, Edwin De Los Santos. You know what I mean? Shakur was in there, you know what I'm saying, with somebody that's dangerous. If he got caught at the wrong time with the right shot, especially with him being hurt, supposedly, allegedly, I mean, it could have been an upset. So the smart thing for Shakur to do is to do exactly what he did. You know what I'm saying? Go in your bag and box. Come out the fight victorious. Yeah, people want to talk because that's what they do. People talk. You know what I mean? But get the win. Go back into the gym. Get back in that bag. Work on your skills. Work on your skill set. And more importantly, get your mind right. Focus on the next fight, whomever it may be. Make sure that you are mentally ready and physically ready to take on that challenge. If you're not looking to go back, this is Shakur Stevenson. If you're still trying to fight top opposition, that's what they're going to look at this fight and they're going to think, you know what, Shakur Stevenson, I ain't going to say he's sweet, but I mean, he can be beat. I mean, this is boxing. Anybody can be beat on any given night. And it happened to go Shakur Stevenson's way. Now, if he fights Tank or Devin Haney, I mean, these are A-tier top predators, you know what I mean, in the game. So if they fight Shakur Stevenson, he may not come out of those fights scraping by with a decision victory. He's going to lose if he fights Haney or Tank, because those fights, you have to be decisive. And that's why Shakur Stevenson got denied, because he was the A side versus De Los Santos. De Los Santos was dangerous, but Shakur is the A side. And I told you guys time and time again, once you get that A side nod, it's over. But you have to be at a certain level in order to garner that respect. Shakur Stevenson, he put in his work, you know what I'm saying? And he's a future star in the sport. So he got denied. So you can't be surprised. You know what I mean? It's not a robbery. It's nothing like that. But it was a dangerous fight. It was an ugly fight. And De Los Santos, arguably, I mean, if he could say he won a rematch, I mean, a lot of people will probably believe that, you know what, he deserves a rematch. It was an ugly fight. But if Tyson Fury ain't rushing to get back into the ring with Ngannou, you think Shakur Stevenson is going to rush to get back into the ring with De Los Santos? He knows that he's dangerous. He's going to go back into the lab. He's going to work, and he's going to be just as good, if not better, the second time around. So any way you look at it, that's a dangerous fight. So even if he can get a rematch, or they make a rematch with De Los Santos, even in my opinion, it's not going to be a guarantee that Shakur Stevenson is going to walk away with the victory. It's going to be another tough fight. But if they decide to move forward and work on that next bout, then who will it be? Prograis and Haney, that fight is already slated at 140. And Tank Davis, right now, he's on a temporary hiatus while he gets his life and career together. And he's not in a rush. Tank don't need the money. You know what I'm saying? These fighters need the money, so they need Tank. And they know that. You know what I'm saying? So Tank Davis is sitting pretty, man. You know what I mean? But shout out to Shakur, man. He put on a great performance. I mean, for what he had to do, he came out with the victory. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying, a spectacular performance, but he did what he had to do. End of the day, you got the dub. You know what I mean? So you can't be mad at Shakur Stevenson, man. I mean, he got the dub. He got the victory. It was a tough fight. It was an ugly fight. And sometimes it's like that, man. Just like in football. I mean, every Sunday, you're not going to go out there and blow your opponent out the water. You know what I mean? But if you can go in there and you can get an ugly win, guess what? End of the day, a dub is a dub. A win is a win. You know what I mean? He's still undefeated. He's a 3-division world champion. He has a bright future. He's still one of the up-and-coming rising stars in boxing. And it really ain't nothing that you can say really about Shakur Stevenson outside of that. Yeah, he had a bad performance, but now all of a sudden, is he a bad fighter? Is he trash? Far from it. Hell no. You crazy if you think so. So Shakur Stevenson, he will be totally fine moving forward. But the question is, if he gets a top tier competitor moving forward, how will he do? Because he does have to bounce back now. You know what I mean? Looking at this performance, when he goes into his next fight, he's going to have to look super explosive. He's going to have to really go in there and be surgical and pick that guy apart, whomever it may be.
Fatality.